afraid to start Zepbound. And you know something else, Downsizing Diva? There were people that would come on my videos and say, "Oh, you eat way too much food. That's a lot of food. Ain't nowhere in the world I can eat all that food."
Hello. Welcome. Today we have Traces of Twaun's life. Hi, Twaun. I'm so excited to talk to you. This interview has been months in the making. And so finally, we are here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm just excited to do this interview with you.
I was just telling you before we started, I was watching an interview with you and your hubby. I love that. I love how he is so supportive of you. I'm sure that makes your journey a lot more enjoyable, right? Because you have some support. And your husband seems like he notices things about you. I hear a lot of women sometimes say their husband hasn't noticed their weight loss or doesn't say anything about it. I think that's so cool that he's on board and supporting you 100%.
Oh yeah, he's definitely on board and he noticed a lot. He noticed more than I think he noticed. A lot of times he don't say things, not right then, but then later he'll say certain things. But yeah, he notices.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's great. Tell us about your journey because you've had a long journey with the GLP-1. I just consider you a pioneer taking the GLP-1s and telling us all about your experiences with it. What brought you to taking the GLP-1 medication? How did you get introduced to Wegovy?
I had started doing intermittent fasting and I was walking in the mornings before work trying to lose weight and I would do good. Like some weeks I would drop 9 pounds, 11 pounds, just doing intermittent fasting and cutting carbs and doing things like that. But it was like the weight was just going up and down. If I cut carbs for a whole week, I'll lose like 9 pounds. But then the next week I gained back when I start like eating the carbs. So it was just a big roller coaster thing. And I had went into work one day and I was actually looking at my coworker and I said to her, I said, "You don't lost a lot of weight." And she told me that she was on this weight loss injection called Mounjaro and that she had lost, I think, about 30 some pounds at the time, and that her goal was to lose about 50 something pounds. And I was like, oh, wow. And so she started telling me all about it. But when she was saying injection, I was thinking that she was using like a regular needle where you take the medicine out and put it in the syringe. I was thinking that's what she was doing. She didn't explain to me that it was a pen. She just said, I give myself injections once a week. And so I was like, oh, I don't think I want to be doing that, be fooling around with needles and all this kind of stuff. So it just went in the back of my head. And then one day I was like, oh, I don't gain again. Then the next week I lost. And the next week I'm up again. So I started researching. And I asked her, I said, what's the name of that medicine you told me you was getting? She said Mounjaro. So I went on YouTube and I started looking and everything. And I started talking to my husband about it and a few other family members. And so eventually I asked her if she would give me her provider's information. She was like, yeah, sure. But being that we work for the same company, I'm sure it will be on my list. Will your doctor be on my list? So I went and I made the appointment. And so when I got to the office, the doctor said to me that she could not put me on Mounjaro because I wasn't diabetic. Because, she had to get pre-authorization and all that stuff from my doctor. And she had my blood work and my whole medical history. She said,
Well, at
but
this point, how much did you weigh?
I was 394.4 when I went to her office. I
Okay.
was 394.4. And so she told me that she couldn't put me on Mounjaro because I wasn't a diabetic. But however, she said, your insurance company just started paying 100% on Wegovy. So I can get you on that. And I was like,
Wow.
okay, so now what is Wegovy? So she started explaining it to me that it was very similar to Mounjaro. It's just that it was approved, FDA approved for weight loss instead. So she explained to me then that it was like the same medication as Ozempic. Ozempic was similar to Mounjaro. So that's the way she explained it to me. And so she had all these different pens and she was holding up the pens and she was talking about each one of them. And she showed me how to administer it. And she was like, here's your box. If you want to get started, here's your box, free box. And I was like, oh,
In the office.
right at the office. And so I came home and I went ahead and gave myself my injection the same day instead of waiting until that weekend, like she told me. I started on a Wednesday,
Okay,
February
so she told
22nd.
you to start on the weekend, but you took it as soon as you got home.
Yeah, she told me go ahead and start on the weekend. She said because most people have complications. And she explained all those side effects and stuff, and she just said it's better if you do it on the weekend. That way, if you're sick, you can recover in time for you to go back to work on Monday. But I was like, I work from home, so if I'm really not feeling bad, I'm at home. I can always go in there and lay down on my lunch break and things like that. So that's what my mind was thinking. So I was like, I'm just going ahead and get it over with. Take it out. So
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So let's back up. How did you get to 394.4 pounds? Was it having the babies, your children that got your weight going, or was it just losing yourself and doing everything else?
when I became pregnant with my oldest daughter, I remember this very well because just recently, a few years ago, I finally gave her shot records for when she was a baby. I gave both of them their shot record. And they just laughed at, Mama, you kept this all them years. I'm like, yeah. I
I
still had their
love
shot
that.
record card. And shot record card, it shows from day one of them coming in and getting their shots, and it had my information, everything on there. And so my daughter's on it hit on there that my weight was 163 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, when I
Oh,
was
wow.
pregnant with her on my first visit. And then my last visit of me going in on her card showed I was 190 something pounds. That's when I went back in for her 6 week checkup after she was 6 weeks being
Mm-hmm.
born. I was 190 some pounds. So I guess maybe my weight was maybe like 150 something, but by me being pregnant, I was like at 163 by the time I went in and for them to get me established and stuff like that. And so after I had her, the weight just stayed there a little bit. And then when I got pregnant with my second daughter, I was like, I'm not gaining no weight like I did with this first one. So I made sure I was like walking like every day. One of my friends, she's passed away now, but she and I used to walk every evening because I
Wow.
was determined not to gain all that weight through my pregnancy. And I wore my same clothes while I was pregnant because, yeah, I really didn't gain weight. So I did really good. And after I had my second daughter, I would walk and stuff like that. Because where I lived at, it was a school, and I would go in the evening, me and my dad and my neighbor, her daughters, and we would walk the track sometimes in the evening. So I started losing weight, and I remember I was wearing a size 20 or 22 or something like that, and I got all the way down to a size 15, 16. So I don't remember how much I weighed at the time. I felt really comfortable with my weight wise and everything. And then just working 2 and 3 jobs, trying to take care of my girls. I would work. I remember I would work like double shifts on the weekends, like 7 in the morning to 11 at night, Saturdays and Sundays. And then their grandmother would keep them while I worked. So instead of working like 4 shifts during the week, I would do like 4 shifts in 2 days. That way I can be home with them after school and stuff like that, and not having to have them at a babysitter or something like that. So by me working those double shifts, what am I eating?
Yeah,
Fast
yeah.
food,
Fast food. And that'll
stuff
do
like
it.
that. So by eating so much fast food and stuff, that's the reason I was gaining so much weight.
Okay.
We're not preparing. And then when you work so many hours like that, you're tired. So when you're off, you don't want to be exercising. You want to just rest and relax.
Yeah.
Having to do chores and all that stuff. I just didn't have the time, the energy really to do all that working out and stuff. I just didn't.
So when you met your husband, how was your weight then?
Okay, so when I met my husband, it's so funny because I had this coworker that was into fitness and trying to lose weight and stuff like that. She had lost a lot of weight, and she decided she wanted to do a boot camp with the ladies on the job. So we would meet up. We would meet up on Saturdays at this park. It was really close to our job because a lot of the ladies lived over in that area. And on Saturday morning, we would work out together and stuff like that. And then she and I were the only two that would work out during the week. So I would go to her house and work out with her like one day during the week, and then I would do my other stuff on my own. And on Saturday we work out together. So she had all of us to bring something that we wanted to get in. I never forget I had this skirt that was a size 18, and I wanted to get in that skirt. At that time, I was 315 pounds. Okay. And during that time, my husband and I, we really didn't date, but we were dating. And so my goal was to get into that. And so she had all of us to take a picture with the dress or skirt that we was trying to get in. So I took a picture, and she just recently sent me that picture earlier during the year, and I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it. That's one picture I wanted to show you, and it showed the skirt up to me, and I was holding the skirt like this, and
Okay.
the skirt was a size 18. And then eventually I got into that skirt. Make a long story short, I was 315 when that started, and by the time my husband and I got married, I had got down, I believe, to 287 or 285. I think it was more 287. And him and I was just talking about that this morning because he was like, "You about the size you were when we got married." And I was like, I think about 3 more pounds, but I think I was like 287. So another 3 pounds, I'll be the weight that I was when my husband and I got married.
And see, I think that's so great because a lot of women are always, waiting to lose weight to date or waiting to lose weight to
Mm-hmm.
vacation or waiting to lose weight to do something. And so, what made you not do that? What made you feel comfortable at your size to just go, I'm not waiting to slim down. I'm going to date and enjoy my life.
I've always been on the thick side. I always been like in the middle of my friends. I always had a majority of my friends were a lot smaller than I was, but I had a few that was larger than I was. So I was like in the middle, so to speak. But I never had a problem with dating. Even in high school, I always was, the thick girl with the thick thighs and all that. But I never had a problem with dating. Never. I
Oh,
never.
that's good. That's
I'm married, thank God, but I have a lot of friends that are still single, never been married before, and they small, way smaller than I am.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
just show that people need to be confident in who they are, for one, because although I am a heavy set woman, always been plus size, I've always had a lot of confidence. I always been like one of the best dressers, always with in my friends and stuff like that. A lot of my friends, they real plain Jane when it comes to dressing. They may have their hair done and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm plain Jane when it comes to the hair. I always been like a natural girl. Plain Jane with that. But they'll have their hair hooked, but their outfits be like, okay, plain Jane.
You are so
I
funny.
always been on the flashy side when it comes to dressing and stuff like that. I never been the type to want to go somewhere and be half stepping, put so to speak.
We love your confidence, and I can relate to that too. I believed in looking presentable at whatever weight you are. Even though I feel like I let myself go, I've always had that confidence. And I think that's one of the things that attracted me to you and your channel is that you have that confidence and it shows. I think it starts when you're younger. I was taught that. Do you feel like you were raised to be confident?
Yes, and that was one of the reasons why I sent you that one picture of me and my mom.
I
Because my
love it.
mom was a heavy set woman. She became heavy over the years, but my mom was a flashy dresser. She was very flashy. She always had the big hats with the matching suits, the matching purses, the heels. And for mom to be a big person, I used to be like, Mama, how you walking them heels? A lot of people be like, Joyce, no, she be wearing them heels. I mean, she can walk it. She used to go walk in them heels. You hear me? And I be like, honey, she can keep them heels. But lately, over the years, I've been trying to put on a little bit of heels here and there, but not like my mama used to walk. She's walking them little old skinny heels for her to be a heavy set woman. But my mama was always a flashy dresser. And it's so funny because my mom, she had a brother. He passed away a year before my mom passed away. They were born the same day, but a year apart. And
Wow.
they looked just alike. Their personality was just alike. They both was flashy dressers. She always wore hats. He always wore hats. And it's so funny because we always say they should have been twins. They were the
Oh,
same day, just a
wow.
year apart. He was a year older than she was. But they both was flashy dressers like that. And it's so funny because they were the
That is so cool. I've heard you talk about your dad being a big influence with the exercising. And what about your dad? Was he a flashy dresser too?
no, my dad wasn't a
No.
flashy dresser. My dad, he didn't like to wear suits because his arms was too big.
Oh, yeah.
His arm was
Yeah.
just too big. I remember one time we went to a funeral up in Orlando. His uncle had passed away, and he was saying he couldn't put the jacket on because it was just like he's got to burst out of it. He wasn't a flashy dresser like that, but he dressed nice. When I remember him, he would wear his boots, and like in those days, the men used to wear those dressy boots. He used to
Oh,
wear
yeah.
those
Yeah.
dressy boots that go like to your ankle boots. I remember him wearing those. He'd be polishing his boots and zip them up and stuff like that. But yeah, but he wasn't flashy like my mama. He'd be put together, but not over the top like she used to be.
Okay. So you're on Wegovy. Tell us, what were your experiences with Wegovy? What did the medication make you feel like? What did it do for you? being on Wegovy?
I believe I lost 96.6 pounds on Wegovy prior to Thanksgiving. Then when Thanksgiving, I end up gaining 1.4 pounds. So that put me at a total, I believe, of 95 point something pounds total that I lost on Wegovy within that 1 year and 9 months. Wegovy was good to me. I cannot complain because I had my run with it. It got me to where I'm at now. It was great because I didn't have side effects like other people. With Wegovy, I had the constipation, but it really didn't. The constipation really wasn't that bad for me until I got to 2.4. I never had the headaches, the nausea, the vomiting, the stomach pains. I didn't have any of those things on all of the dosage until I got to 2.4 milligrams. Once I got to 2.4 milligrams, I experienced the nausea. And I had shared my experience on one of my videos, and I had two people to tell me, Twaun, you're doing intermittent fasting. That's why you got nauseated. They said you cannot do intermittent fasting the day after your injection. So
Oh,
you have
okay,
to eat
okay,
right away because
okay.
your stomach was empty. You didn't have enough in your body. And then they both told me to increase my proteins. Okay. So the day before, I made sure I went over my protein goal as much as possible. And then the next day, instead of waiting until like 10:30, 11:30 to eat, after I finished walking and I took my shower and got dressed for work, I automatically ate right then. So I was eating around 7:30 that morning instead of waiting till 10:30, 11:30.
Oh, okay. And did that help
I
with the
didn't have any
nausea?
nausea. So the next week, I pushed it and I said, let me just wait to about 8:30 and see what happens. I wait till 30. Nothing happened, no nausea. So I said, okay, let me wait, see if I can go to about 9:30. And about 9 o'clock, before 9:30 even got there, I felt the nausea coming on. I was like, oh, I can't play with this. Yeah, no.
So when did you start to document your journey with the Wegovy? So you were already creating videos and then day one.
Day
Okay.
one. Because what happened was I had started my channel doing building this house here and home decor and stuff like that, and me shopping and things like that. And then when I started walking, trying to lose weight and going to the gym, I started bringing people in on that because somebody had mentioned to me one day, they said, "Feel like you losing weight." And I was like, yeah, I am. So they come in one of my videos. And I said, how you know? She said, because you're not breathing as hard as you used to. And I was like,
On the video, she could tell that from the video.
mhm.
Okay, okay.
I
Wow.
was like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah. Me and my husband been going to the gym a little bit and stuff like that. And so I started bringing them in on what I was doing. And when I got that box, I sat down to tell them about it. And then I was like, let me go change clothes. I'm finna go ahead and do this injection now. So in the middle of my video, I stopped the video,
In the middle of
changed
the
clothes.
video.
My
Oh
very
my
first
goodness.
injection, I did it. Yeah, it's on there. You go look.
Ah, yeah, I gotta go back. Oh
And let
my
me tell you
goodness.
something else that's funny. I don't remember what injection this was, but it was very early. It was that same box. I think it was I don't know if it was my third injection, but I don't remember. But anyway, I was recording me giving myself an injection. Why did the pen leak in the video?
Oh, wow. What'd you
So
do?
I called it Norver Notice. I'm gonna set
Oh,
you
I
my
think
link.
I saw that video.
I
You
called
recorded
them,
that.
yeah, and I recorded it. And that video, people still watching it. And they was like, "Oh, thank you so much, thank you so much." People still commenting on that video, telling me thank you
Oh yeah, because
for
I'm
doing
sure
that.
that happens to a lot of people.
And then right after that, I saw somebody else did a video right behind me. About a couple months later, somebody else did another video just like mine.
Oh
Hollering.
my goodness. Wow. See, those are kind of things that are helpful because that really happens to people. What do? You already are
Yeah,
unsure about this injection. You don't know what's going on. And it's expensive, right? Even if your insurance is paying for it, you
yeah.
think, are they going to replace it? Wow. Wow. Okay. So if anybody watching, you want to go back and check that video, especially if you're new to Wegovy or Zepbound or,
Yeah,
any of
because
the
they
other
sent me a whole
injections.
box, not just one pen. They
A
gave me a
whole
whole
box.
box. I went to my phone, what they did, they sent me a form for me to fill out, and then I had to take it to my pharmacy.
Yeah, I can imagine they don't want to just send the one pen because it comes in the whole pack. Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense. So tell us, other than the nausea, did you have any other side effects with Wegovy? No?
No,
Okay.
just them two little experience with nausea, and I was like, "Oop, no more." But like I said, the constipation really came on when I got to 2.4. But when I started making juice for my husband, juicing, when I started juicing, when
Mm-hmm.
my daughter sent my husband a juicer for, I think it was Christmas, to help him because he's not really a vegetable eater, and this was a way to help him.
I
So
heard him say, no
I
more
started doing.
Brussels sprouts, no more of those little cabbages. He's like, make the whole cabbage. You have to make him some cabbage steaks. They call them cabbage steaks, and you can put all kind of stuff, cheese on them, whatever people are putting on those, and ground beef. It looks good. I said I was gonna try that, but yeah, they're called cabbage steaks, and see if he'll like
See if
that.
you eat that, huh?
That tickled me when he said that. So I know you are a calorie counter. Did you start calorie counting from day one?
She told me in that office, I want you to try to eat 1,600 calories a day. Then she say, no, let's do 15. I want you to track at 15 because she already knew I was going to go over. That's why she pushed it back to 15. She said, let's do 15. And it's okay if you go up to 1,800 a few days a week, one or
Okay.
2 days a week, but try not to go over 1,800. She told me right then about my carbs. She told me right then, let's see, my calories, my carbs, my protein. She did not tell me, and she told me about my fiber. She didn't tell me about my fat right then. So when I went back to my second appointment, I asked her, I said, you never told me about fat. What about fat? She said, don't worry about the fat. As long as you're hitting your calorie, your protein, your carbs, you'll be fine. You'll be even with your fat. So from day one, I started tracking. And she told me that same day to download Carb Manager. It
Yeah.
was cheaper than my Fitness Pal. And I
Hmm.
said, okay. And it was much cheaper. I think Carb Manager was like 30 some dollars a year. And my Fitness Pal is $79.99 a year. But I like my
Hmm.
Fitness Pal better because I have that scanning thing that I can just scan the
Scan
link.
the items
You
quick.
can't
Yeah.
do that with Carb Manager. And then there's certain foods that you try to look up in Carb Manager, they don't exist in there. Not trying to be funny, but it wasn't made for African American people. Certain things that
Well,
we
you know,
eat, it's not
I
in
will
there.
tell you some of the foods I couldn't find in the carb manager either. You can create your own thing, but that to me that defeats the purpose of the
Right.
convenience of it, you know? So okay, so you've been tracking those calories, you've been at 1,500 calories. So even though you've been tracking the calories and things and you've been exercising, I know you said your weight with Wegovy has been slow. Did it start off slow when you first started?
I lost 16 point something pounds my first month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
lost over 16 pounds my first month on Wegovy. Naked. Clutch. The doctor say 14. I said, yeah, but in my birthday suit is 16. She said, yeah, but I can't have you in your birthday suit here in my office.
What year was this?
I started in February the 2nd, 2023. So this
2006.
February will be 2 years for me.
It'll be 2 years. Wow, very good. So when did you notice it slowed down with Wegovy?
It started to slow down towards the end of that year. But to me, I was fine with it slowing down because that was during the time that my mother-in-law was living here with us and she was starting to transition. So to me, I was thinking that it slowed down because I was just stressed and a lot was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But my doctor was like, no, I think it's the medicine. And during that time, Zepbound had just got FDA approved, so she was trying to switch me, but I didn't want to switch. So in
Okay.
my mind, I was thinking, this was around, I think, in September when she was trying to switch me. Like I was thinking in my mind that it was because of what was going on with my mother-in-law, the reason why it had started slowing down. And for some reason, I still felt that way up until the first of this year. That's when I was like, yeah, I think it is the week over because I had went up and down in those 2 months that between my visit from her. When I went in, I had lost 5 pounds in 2 months.
Did you find yourself stress eating though, or just sadness of your mother-in-law transitioning? Did you go up, veer off of those 1,500 calories?
Yeah, I went over. I was eating like 17 and 1,800, but that still wasn't nowhere near what I was eating before I had even
Sure.
started. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But even with that 17, 1,800, that's what was causing my weight loss to be slow. I was still losing, but it was slow. I was only losing like 0.4 and 0.6 and stuff like that every week.
Okay. Okay.
Versus the 2 to 3 pounds a week or 4 pounds a week and stuff like that.
So when did you introduce the phentermine?
I started taking Saxenda on August the 7th. Let me go back. Let me see.
You were taking that instead of Wegovy or in addition to?
I took Saxenda 2 weeks
Just
instead
the
of
2 weeks.
Wegovy.
Okay.
Because the
Okay.
insurance company, when this is the only time when she was trying to switch me to Zepbound. The
Okay.
insurance company approved,
Okay.
they approved the Zepbound, right? However, they wanted me to pay $600 and some dollars. And I'm like, I'm not paying $0 right now. But we go, you want me to pay $600 and some dollars? I'm like, no. So the pharmacy told me about the Zepbound card, discount card. I did that. They ran it through and it said my co-payment was $456. I'm still like, that's too much.
Still alive.
She said, let me see if we can do a tier exception. So she explained to me that a tier 2 exception is Wegovy is on a tier 2 exception. That's why you don't pay anything out of pocket. So if we can get this on a tier 2, then it'd be the same as Wegovy. However, they wanted me to try a list of other medications first, and Saxenda was on that list
before you could get the Zepbound.
Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, let's just do it. Finally, I gave in. And so I started the Saxenda, and I lost 2.4 pounds. And then the next week, I gained 3.4. I'm like,
because it was holding on to that water.
That's what it was, the water. So then I say, this is just not working. I need to get off this Saxenda, whatever. So I told her that Darium had told me about Contrave to see if I can take Contrave along with the Wegovy. And she said, we don't want to do Contrave because of your blood pressure. It's a little stronger, I guess, than phentermine. Let me try you with the phentermine and the Wegovy. We went back to that. So August the 7th, I started that. And the very first week of being under half a tablet of 37.5 milligrams of phentermine plus my Wegovy, I lost 7.6 pounds.
7.6?
Yeah,
wow.
7.6 pounds. I went from 324.8 to 317.2. That put me at 77.2 pounds weight loss.
Now, so let's back up for the people that don't know. Saxenda, do you inject that every day or every week?
Every day.
Every day. So that was also something I'm sure you weren't a fan of either. Okay.
Every
but
day.
You only did it for the 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
Okay. So when you got the Wegovy and the phentermine combo, were you thinking this might work?
So she said, okay, let's just go ahead and just keep trying that. And you only got a couple of months left in this year. Then you go ahead and try to switch insurance companies because I had told her about that. And then we can go ahead and try and see at that point what they would do. Because what happened when I started the Saxenda, the very first week, she tried to submit that paperwork again to tell me that I started. It's not working for me. They told her, oh, starting July to something, we switch medications, and Saxenda is not one of those ones anymore on the list. That's what I was like, just put me back on Wegovy. This is how the insurance company play games.
Wow, wow.
She said, at that point, I was fed up with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I say, I'm leaving them. I'm going to go ahead and go with GEHA. So she said, okay, we're already in August. Let's just go ahead and let you finish out the next 4 months with the phentermine, and then we can go ahead and get you on the Zepbound once you change insurance companies.
Oh, okay, okay.
My plan was to stay on phentermine and Wegovy, but I ended up deciding to start December the 4th on Zepbound.
All right, so before we get to the Zepbound, let's talk about so you count your calories, you use that MyFitnessPal, you were at 1,500 calories around that point. So how much protein did your doctor tell you to get in, or did you have to figure that out for yourself?
She told me a minimum of 80.
Okay, minimum.
She said
Okay.
you can eat as much as you want with protein. It wouldn't hurt me. I don't have any health issues where I had to eat a certain amount.
You get it from the meats and the
Mhm.
beans and all that, but do you supplement with the protein shakes and the protein bars?
Yes, I not
Okay.
protein bars, not that much. I really don't care for protein bars to be honest with you like that. But lately, I've been nibbling on a few here and there. But yeah, I
Okay.
definitely like to get my protein in with the egg whites. I love me some egg whites for one, and I will do the protein shakes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Very good. And so what about fruit? Because I see you buying a lot of fruit and you live in Florida, so that's perfect. I'm sure a lot of fruit stay in season all year long there. So what are your favorite fruits, and has your doctor said anything about fruits and the carbs? Because I think a lot of people that even aren't diabetic stray away from the fruit.
So my favorite fruits are pineapple, mango, watermelon, and banana. Those are my four. My doctor told me be careful so much about that watermelon because a lot of sugar, even with banana. I said I love bananas. She said, "Well, just eat the small bananas." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I buy small ones because I
Okay.
can eat
All
a
right.
banana every day.
It's a great source of potassium. I call
Mm-hmm.
it nature's candy because
Mm-hmm. I love
it is
bananas.
sweet. All right, so very good. So let's talk about how you switched over to Zepbound. So in December, your insurance was changing, and you were debating whether you should stay on Wegovy or not.
Right.
Let's.
My mind was made up that I was going to change insurance. I had already talked to the insurance company and everything. I had already got all the information on what was going to happen, what I need to do, all that good stuff. I was thinking, I was like, I think I may need to go ahead and start myself now on the Zepbound because I knew Public still had a prescription for me there for the Zepbound 12.5 milligrams. Although I didn't want to start that high. So something said, send your doctor a message and ask her, can she switch that and lower it down to 7.5 milligrams and start there because I felt like 7.5 was in the middle of all the dosages and just start there. That way, when you switch over, in January, you would have already been on the medication. It would probably be easier for you to just go right into the pre-authorization and all that good stuff with the new company versus being on Wegovy going into this new.
So that you've decided to do that because your doctor said it would be an easier transition when you go
No,
in
I
January.
said that.
You said that. Okay,
Yeah,
you
it
said
came to
that.
my mind. So I sent a note and said, hey, I want to go ahead and just go ahead and pay out of pocket for my first box. Because I was thinking I would just need to pay for one box at the time. And I did still have 2 week over pens left. So I could have just took my 2 week over pens and then went to Zepbound. But I was like, let me go ahead and switch Zepbound now because to be honest with you, I was afraid to start Zepbound. I really
You were
was.
afraid. What were you afraid of?
I was afraid to start Zepbound because I had been watching so many people on YouTube on Zepbound because there's not a lot of people on YouTube on Wegovy right now. It's not. At one point, it was a lot of people. Now it's not. Everybody's mainly on Mounjaro and Zepbound now. That's the hot commodity right now. And what scared me about it is because I started watching different videos. And I noticed, this is just me,
Okay.
people on Mounjaro and Zepbound, they don't track. Let me take that back. Let me rephrase my words because I don't want to offend anybody. Majority of the people on Mounjaro and Zepbound, they don't track. They don't exercise.
Okay, because I track and I do get my little exercise in. Now I'm not like
That's why I
you.
said, let me
I've
change my
tracked from
words. I
day
don't want
one
to
too.
offend anybody. Majority of the people, they don't exercise and they don't track. They're not aware of what they're eating, how much they're eating. And in my mind, I never went into this as I'm going to be on this for the rest of my life. There's a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm going to take this for the rest of my life." Me, I never had that mindset. My mindset was, let me get on it. Let me see what it's going to do. Let me get down to a certain amount and change my whole lifestyle and bow out gracefully. that was my that was my train of thought. So when I kept seeing people, I'm like, well, if they're not tracking, and once they stop, how do they know how much they need to be eating so they don't gain their weight back again? That's what my
Mhm.
mindset was. And then some people was like, oh, I just eat one meal and then I drink a protein shake. So I'm like, what's your one meal? And then when they tell me, I'm like, you barely got 40 or 50 grams of protein in today. That type of thing. And it
Mhm.
scared me because I'm like, I don't want to be around here eating 1,000 calories and 800 calories a day because I know what I'm eating now on Wegovy, on the medication, 1,500.
Right, right.
So I'm like, if I go on Zepbound and I start eating like 800, I'm eating like half, pretty much half of what I'm eating now. And then once I stop and I start like eating 1,500, I'm going to gain weight. I mean, I'm doing the math, you know. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I don't want to be on that. And that's one reason why I was fighting my doctor. So I'm like,
Is that why? Okay, I wasn't sure why.
yeah, I'm like, oh,
Okay.
no, I don't want to be around here eating like a bird. No, that's what I was telling
I
her.
think that's a great point, and that's the perspective I'm coming from too. I'm thinking about long term. When I get off this medication, I eat carbs, and I feel like carbs have been made like evil, kind of like fruit, even. And don't eat carbs, don't eat carbs. But for the rest of my life, am I not going to eat carbs? No, I'm going to eat carbs. I think there's a stereotype out there, though, that if you're overweight, if you're like 250 on up, I would say people think that you're eating all this food. And when I really went back and looked when I was eating terribly, one of my fast food meals was like 3 or 4,000 calories. And so when
Right.
you're eating like that, even though you're not eating a lot of food in bulk, you're eating a lot of calories.
A lot
And
of
to me,
calories.
that's why the calorie count is so important. And I also think it's important so you don't undereat too, because
Mhm.
that's how you mess up your metabolism. You can still lose weight and eat, right?
You know something else, Downsizing Diva? There were people that would come on my videos and say, "Oh, you eat way too much food. That's a lot of food. Ain't no way in the world I can eat all that food. You're not my size, and you're not me."
Yeah.
And I had one lady tell me, she said, "I was so wrong about you." She said, "I used to be like, how she eat all that food, but you proved me wrong because you constantly losing weight."
I think that's important because when you go on your channel, you're doing your grocery store hauls, you're showing what you're eating, you're showing the calories, you're showing the food. And I think people appreciate that. We don't know what's going to happen with this medication. And so I understand that mindset of I'm going to take this forever because I want to keep that food noise down. But we don't know what's going to happen with the medication. What for some reason if you can't continue? And so I guess I'm going into it like that. And my weight loss is going to be slower because I'm actually eating. I'm enjoying it. I'm not going to be that person that's going to drop super fast, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay
And,
with
and
that.
that was me. I was fine with that too. All the while, my doctor kept saying that she have other patients who losing weight more than I am, and this, that, and the other. I was fine if I was doing a good job. But to her, she felt like I should have been losing more and faster. To me, I like that I lost it slow. That's why I always say slow and steady is my game because when you lose it slow, you're doing something. That's the way I
Mhm.
see it. You're actually doing something because it's to me, it's you're in control, you're monitoring everything, you're learning on your journey, so to speak, versus dropping it so fast and by the time you blink your eyes, the weight gone, you're like, what happened? What did I do?
It's something to be said for those people paying a lot of money for this medication and feel like I got to lose this fast because I can't afford it. So I understand that.
And then so here's the thing, I would have people to come on my channel and they would say it's not working for me, I'm not losing weight. So I'll say, how many calories you eat, how much protein? They don't know. How you know it's not working for you then? If you're not tracking and monitoring what you're eating, you can't say the medicine is not working.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you track and you tracking 1,500 calories per day and you're not going over at all, and you being truthful about you tracking, then the medicine is not working.
So what would you say to those people who said, I just can't track? I got anxiety with tracking. I've tracked for years and years. I was tracking at Weight Watchers. I was tracking on another kind of diet. What do you say to those people that are all tracked out?
I tell them just track your protein because I do have a friend that is a diabetic. She's pre-diabetic and she go to a nutritionist. That what made me go ahead and make an appointment with a dietitian. Her nutrition told her just track your protein. That's it.
Yeah, and if you can't do anything else, track the protein. Yeah, I think, and I've heard that, and I think that's great advice for the people that don't want to track. I always tell people track for 1 week, just track for 1 week and see what you're doing for the week. And you can always duplicate those meals. Once you get like a set amount of meals that you know what they are, then you don't really need to track after that. And the great thing about MyFitnessPal, and I'm sure the Lose It app and some of the other apps do it, you can save your meals. So you save your meals in there.
Yeah.
I even pre-track. I know you do that too. I pre-track my foods for the week, and then if something happens and I don't eat that, I just delete it and swap it out for what I actually ate. So that's helpful too. Tell us about this exercise because you are doing it.
From the beginning, I started walking 3 miles. Let me take that back. I started walking like 30 minutes in the morning before work. Then I increased it to 1 hour. And then I started noticing that I was doing like 2 miles in that 1 hour. And I was like, oh, let me see if I can keep increasing to get to 3 miles. So I did. I pushed myself. So I started walking 3 miles in an hour. And then when I noticed my weight loss had slowed down, I said, let me start walking a little bit more. So I started walking 4 miles just so that
Okay.
way I can burn a little bit more. I had started going to a boot camp and I had injured myself. So I started going to a sports medicine doctor. And basically, he told me that I had a little bit of arthritis in left knee, a lot in the right knee. That's because I was favoring that side of because me being right handed, that was my dominant
Yeah.
side. I was favoring it more. And all of the walking that I was doing, all the pounding and pounding on my joints is what was causing my knee pain. And when I moved the wrong way, not having my posture, that's what caused my injury. And he basically said you need to quit the boot camp because you need something that's a little bit slower where you can actually get the right formation when you're doing your exercises and things like that. So I quit the boot camp and tried to go back to the gym, which that didn't work. Me and gyms don't work. I'm very short patient. And when I got in my mind that I'm going to go to this machine, that machine, this machine, and this machine, and I'm sitting there waiting because the two machines they have that's just like people are on them and they sitting there playing with their
Yeah.
cell phones and all this stuff and stuff. I'm very impatient. So I said, this gym thing is just not going to work for me. And that's when I went ahead and I got my Peloton. My dietitian, she was the one who encouraged me to get a bicycle. She said, I'm telling you, you will love the bicycle. I was like, I don't know the bicycle because I was into the art trainer. The art trainer was my choice of cardio machine. I love the art trainer. It looks like an elliptical, but it's not elliptical.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
machine that works every muscle in your body. I had got to the point where I would burn 1,000 calories in 1 hour.
1,000.
Mm-hmm. I used to burn like a
Jeez.
thousand calories in 1 hour on that art trainer.
Well,
And that's what I use, what helped me to lose the weight that I lost when I lost those 55 pounds in that 1 year when I was on Weight Watchers. Now, I like the way my body looked from the art trainer
yeah.
because the art trainer give you that glutes, honey, and have you sitting up high by you. So I like that look, honey.
I love it. I love
Oh
it.
yeah, so that's why the art trainer was my choice. If I could get one now, I would, but it costs like $5,000. I'm not willing to pay that for art trainer.
Let me just tell you, that exercise you do is one of the things that attracted me to your channel. I was just thinking, if this lady could do this at 300 and some pounds, I feel like it's limited excuses, right? You take the excuses out of people. That is such an inspiration for so many people that you are on this bike at your size and weight and you're doing it and you are doing it. And so, you keep that going. That's an inspiration to
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
us.
I
It really
will.
is.
I will. I love that Peloton. I didn't ride it this morning. I try to just ride it Monday through Thursday. And then Friday mornings, I give my husband a break without getting up so early because Me getting up 4:45, 5 o'clock just to work out, and he still be in the bed because his alarm clock don't go off at 5:30. I feel like I give him a break on Friday.
Oh
So
yeah.
Fridays I haven't been getting up and working out on Fridays. So what I do on Fridays, I just walk on two of my breaks during work just to get some steps and stuff.
Do you start work before you eat breakfast or after breakfast?
Usually I'm eating breakfast as I'm logging in.
Okay. Okay.
What I just recently started doing different now is I'm drinking a protein shake as I'm logging in for work, and then I
Okay.
eat my breakfast at 9:30 because um trying to get in as much protein as I can for breakfast. As I'm trying to get at least half of my protein goal,
Yeah, me
and
too.
I struggle sometimes doing that because I feel like, ooh, I'm eating too much with the
Mm-hmm.
Zepbound. I can't eat a lot like I was doing with the Wegovy. Even with the Wegovy and the Phenomene, what I was eating for breakfast, I can't do that with the Zepbound.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what I'm doing is I'm drinking my protein shake first, like at 7:30 in the morning as I'm logging in for work, and then at 9:30 when I take my 9:30 break, that's when I eat breakfast.
Okay. Okay.
Because if I
Okay.
try to do it together with the shake,
Oh yeah, I understand. Okay, so then you have lunch. So you have your lunch,
I have my
and
lunch.
then you get off work and all that, and then you have dinner. Are you cutting carbs at dinner, or you're just eating like just a balanced
Most of the
meal?
time, I don't eat carbs at dinner. A lot of, to be honest with you, a lot of time at dinner, I'm eating a yogurt or some cottage cheese and fruit. It's real light or a little
Okay.
small salad.
So what is the difference between Zepbound and Wegovy? If you could just tell somebody who was debating between the two, maybe their insurance covers both or not, or they were trying to decide between semaglutide and tirzepatide, what would be the big difference for you?
I can't tell. Being on 7.5 milligrams of Zepbound, it feels like I was on the 2.4 milligrams of Wegovy. It feels
Really?
like that when I first started Wegovy, before everything went downhill, started slowing down. That's what I feel like right now with that. However, again, what I normally would eat for breakfast, trying to get in a lot of protein with my first meal, I can't eat it heavy. That was Zepbound. Like for
Okay.
instance, this morning, and I videoed it this morning. I had went to Sam's Club Saturday, and they give you these 4 stuffed salmon in a pack. So I had one salmon. My husband had a half of one, and I had put mine in a freezer into this container with a half of pack of quinoa. My husband had a half of one of stuffed salmon, and he had a half a cup of spinach. So I said, he ain't gonna eat this. Let me go
Mhm.
on and eat both of these together. Because when I ate mine on Saturday, I ate a whole one and a half of one.
Okay.
With the half a pack of quinoa and the spinach. Well, I said, I'm just gonna take his spinach and I'll eat the same. But when I ate it on Saturday, I had did intermittent fasting that morning, so I didn't eat my first meal until lunchtime. So I was hungry. I was ready to eat. When I tried to do it this morning for breakfast, I couldn't. I ate
No.
my whole stuffed salmon, and I ate the spinach, and I barely touched the quinoa. I couldn't even touch my husband's half.
So your appetite is more suppressed, you feel like?
It's more suppressed with Zepbound.
Are you still getting your 1,500 calories in?
I'm still
Okay.
eating the same amount, but it's just
You're
that I
still
can't
eating.
eat a lot like that first thing in the morning. I
Okay.
have to separate it. The only thing. Had I been on that week over, I'd ate that one whole. I'd ate all that food. What I had for lunch was what my lunch today was. What I left in my bowl, with my little meal prep bowl. What I didn't finish for breakfast, I had that for lunch.
So maybe 6 months down the road, this will be a good question for you to
I
see.
probably won't be eating 1,500 calories 6 months down the road. When I go up to that 10, I'm not gonna be eating 1,500 calories. I don't think so. Even now, on some days, I may be at 1,200 or 1,300 calories that I eat. That's why I'm not eating the 40 to 50 grams of protein in breakfast like I normally would do. because I
Mm-hmm.
feel so stuffed and I force myself to do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't just feel it. So that's why I do the
Yeah.
protein shake first, and then I go back 2 hours later. Then I eat my breakfast.
So I think that's a good strategy so that you're still getting in the calories and the protein. So
And
that's a
so
good
when I do lunch, my lunch is very light because of
okay.
that. Hmm.
Because you're still probably full.
Hmm.
So what is your end goal? Like where do you see yourself? I know you want to lose another 100 pounds. Do you have a number in mind? Have you discussed this with
I
your
just want to
doctor?
see 199. Let me see 199. I'm good to go because I'll be out of the 200s. Once
I
I get
feel
to
the same.
199, at that point, that's when I'll really think about where I want to see myself. Because my doctor already told me. I was looking at your video earlier this morning, about 4 o'clock this morning. I listened to your video with Mindy. And Mindy was saying how her doctor told her that she want her rep. She had like at 180 or something, 180, 190 or something.
If she
And
stays
I
there.
thought about my doctor told me, she told me that I'll never get 165 pounds. She said, you have way too much muscle in your body. And I was like, wow. Hear Mindy say her doctor told her the same thing about all her muscle.
Mm-hmm. No, because yeah,
So
she's very active too.
yeah, so that kind of made me think. Did Mindy say she was 180 or 190?
She is 189, I believe, but she's
Okay.
lost a couple more pounds, so she might be 187 now.
Okay. So that is what I was thinking when I heard that this morning. I said, oh, then maybe that's probably where I'll probably end up being. Because if she's big boned and got a lot of muscle like that, then maybe that's probably where I'll probably end up being between 180 and 190 and be like, my husband told me I could stop at 198.
I feel like you need some wiggle room though. I feel like a 10-pound wiggle room, so you get to 199 and you're like, that's great. If you go down to that 189, that'll give you that wiggle room to go back because most people, when they're trying to maintain, they fluctuate between 3 to 5 pounds for the most part. So I think that's great. Any advice for beginners? What advice would you give somebody new to Wegovy or Zepbound? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to make sure they're tracking. Make sure they get with a doctor or nutrition dietitian to find out where they should be as far as their daily protein, their daily fat, daily fiber, carbs, calories. Make sure they're getting in some type of exercise. Get
Some
them
type
some
of
little
movement.
weights. Go to Five Below and pick up some little $5 weights and start working on building muscle right away. That's what I would tell them to do. Start working on building your muscle, tracking what you're eating, start off walking. If you're not an exercise person, start off walking.
That's great advice. That's great advice. What was the best thing about Wegovy for you?
The appetite suppression, as far
Okay.
as allowing me to stop me. Put it
From
like that.
overeating.
Stop
Yeah.
me like, hey, this is enough.
Yes. And what about the worst thing about Wegovy for you?
The worst thing, when it slowed down, when I wasn't losing as fast as I was in the beginning of it.
What has been the best thing about Zepbound so far? Because you've only been on Zepbound for less than a month, right?
I just did my fourth injection. Just did my fourth injection Wednesday. So my first week I lost 3.8 pounds. My second week I lost 3.2. And then when I weighed myself this week, the day after Christmas, I lost 1.6.
Yeah.
So far I've lost what 8.6 pounds in 3 weeks.
That is great. That is great. So
Yes,
yeah, the weight
honey.
loss. Any worse things about Zepbound so far? I know you've been on it for just a short amount of time.
No, the only thing I would say about the Zepbound is that I'm cold a lot. And it's been a good journey with the Zepbound. And that's the reason why I say I don't see a difference between Wegovy and Zepbound because I still crave. I still have cravings on 7.5.
Yeah, I
I
do
still
too.
at 2:30, I still want me something sweet.
I also have a sweet tooth too, but it's controlled. I'm one of those people that say have it, but have a little bit of it. You know what
Right. And that's how I was with Wegovy. I just, have a little bit of it or whatever. But yeah, I
No,
still
okay,
have that.
okay.
So food noise is still there.
Now, what about clothes? I know you do your Temu hauls and you're putting on those beautiful dresses. So, what did you do with the clothes you can't fit?
I have two piles of clothes right now that's folded up I have this little bench at the foot of my bed. One steak I got staked up for one of my aunts. The other one I have staked up for one of my best friends.
Oh,
I
good. So
can't
you
get my aunt stuff that, too
have
young like stuff. And it's so funny because the majority of that stuff still have tags on it. I
Hey,
had
I
them in the
can't
back of my
wait.
closet. They was too little, and now they too big. Matter of fact, the brown capri pants that I had on Christmas Day, that's my second time wearing those pants, and they so big and so big. And my husband said, "Yeah, you need to go ahead and put them on the pile." Then I have a bag in the garage too with clothes in it. So I
Well,
have been bagging up stuff and giving it to this young girl at my church, and then some stuff I just say, take this back to Salvation Army or Goodwill. Because when I give somebody stuff, I want to give them stuff that's really look good. If it's some stuff
yeah.
that's real old and maybe a little faded or a little cotton balls or something, I'm not giving it to anybody.
So you lost 100 pounds. What are some of your non-scale victories? The clothes would be one, right? Being able to fit into
Um,
things.
this watch right here, I got this watch, and I used to could only put it in the first hole. Well, just this week now I'm putting it in the second hole, so that's a non-scale victory.
Wow, I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah,
Very
this
good.
is a 7.5 inch band. My last band was a 9 inch. Yeah,
Wow.
my rings, like right now, I have these little plastic things on the bottom of my rings because I used to hold
To
my hand
keep
and
it
then the ring
on.
just fall off.
Oh my gosh, that's such a
Yeah,
good feeling, isn't it?
my husband drove my car to church one Sunday, and he drove. And that next day, I went to go somewhere, and I noticed that the steering wheel was down, and I started to let it up. So I'm saying, no, just slide on in there, because I used to couldn't get in my car, when the steering wheel
Right.
was all the way down. So now I drive with it all the way down, like how he leaves it.
This one you didn't say, but I'm going to tell you, as somebody who watches your videos, being able to stand up on that Peloton bike is a non-scale victory.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes, because I remember that was your goal. That was your goal, that you wanted to be able to stand up. And I think you even stood up before the weight allowed it. Oh, congratulations. That's such a
Yeah.
good feeling. Yes,
Yes. And I'm doing 45 minutes now on that Peloton bicycle. When I first started, I was only doing 20-minute classes.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You got to keep it up. I know you're going to keep it up, though, because you're so motivated. All right,
Yeah.
so let's
Yeah.
play a quick little game. It's a word association game. So I'm going to say a word, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, and don't try to explain it unless you just feel compelled to. All right,
Okay.
you can just say the word and keep going. Wegovy,
A blessing.
blessing, good. Eli Lilly,
It's still new to me.
Novo
So much.
Nordisk,
A blessing.
a blessing. Okay, being 100 pounds down.
A blessing.
Blessing. I love it. I love it.
Everything a blessing.
Everything's about, what about just weight loss in general? When you reflect back on your weight loss, so like what word would you use to describe your journey? One word.
Amazing.
Amazing. Okay. What about Zepbound? The Zep is Zeppin. What about Zepbound? What's your word to describe that?
Zepping.
Zeppin. What
It's getting me right. It's getting me right, honey.
what about family? When you think of family, what do you think?
My life.
Your life. What about your mom? When I saw that picture, I thought, wow, if her mom was here, she'd be so proud. What word comes to mind when you think of her?
I just can't say one word.
Well, tell me more than one.
I just can't say one word. Let me tell you, if my mom was still living right now, she would be on my YouTube channel, showing everybody my channel.
Oh, yes, because moms are our biggest fans, right?
Yes, she would. She would be showing everybody my videos. Yeah.
I love that.
Good girl, where you got that from? Where you got this outfit from, girl? That was her. The thing I miss the most about my mom, I know you said one word, but every Sunday my mom and I would talk, and she would want to know what I cooked, and she would tell me what she cooked. So that's
Oh,
that little soul food thing that I have every Sunday. We like, what you
oh
cook,
yeah,
girl? And
oh
I
yeah.
tell her, she's like, oh, I cooked this and I cooked that. So that was a little thing we had in common. So I just can't say one word when it comes to my mom. I just can't. Yes.
And I'm sure that's why you have that soul food Sunday thing still going on, where you have your little soul food. I think that's a way you could probably connect with
Yeah,
your
and
mom.
that's the reason why my pot set that I cook with for Sunday food is red because my mom always had red pots on her stove. She didn't cook
Oh,
in
oh,
them.
oh,
That was just
okay. Decoration.
her kitchen was always decorated in apple, red apple.
Oh,
So that's
wow.
why I have red stuff in my kitchen, and I have a picture of my mom on my counter.
Okay, so last word is your dad. What word comes to mind when you think about your dad?
My hero.
Your hero.
It's ironic that right before my father passed away, I had told him that I was joining Weight Watchers and that I was doing real good. I was going to try to lose 100 pounds and all this stuff. He was like, "Yeah, you need to lose that weight because it ain't good for you." We was having this conversation. Well, he ended up passing away. I want to say a couple of weeks after that. So when I really started doing good on Weight Watchers, I went to his grave, and that's the story I was telling in that short. That I went because I went to
Yeah.
his grave. We had just buried him. He didn't have his headstone at the time, just a mound of dirt. And I was telling him, "Dad, I just lost X amount of pounds at Weight Watchers. I'm doing real good. I'm going to lose these 100 pounds. I promise you. I just need your strength." This is what I'm talking to him saying. Although I know he's not there because I know to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. But yet and
Sure.
still, these are the things that I was saying. And so I was sharing that in that short. So the song that my daughter put on that short, because she created that short for me. She was the one that was videoing and edited and put it all together. A song by Gerald Levert and Eddie Levert, father and son. Gerald Levert was
Yeah.
my favorite R&B singer. And he
Oh,
passed
okay.
away. He passed away at a young age. And they were singing "Wind Beneath My Wing." He was telling his daddy that you were my hero. You was
Yes.
everything I wanted
Yes.
to be. So that's what I was saying to my dad. Make a long story short, it's so sad because Gerald Levert died at a young age. He was in his early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Then his brother died right behind him. So there's two kids that Eddie Levert lost. Do you know just a couple of days ago, after my video, he lost his daughter to
It is sad. I saw that too. And she was a young girl too.
She
She
was
was young.
young. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just played his song and now his daughter don't die. I was like, oh my goodness.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. Before we get out of here, I want you to tell us about your YouTube channel. Tell us what's your channel, what you're doing, what you're up to. So what's in store?
I'm trying to show you guys a variety of different things because I realize that it's more to it than me just coming on here and sharing with you that what I'm doing as far as on the scale. I want to show y'all why the scale is moving. So that's the reason why I'm giving you different varieties of different things, what's going on, my shopping, cooking, and all those different things. So something new that I want to do is a series called Love Wins. Self-love is the best love. And so I will be going live to start that series, and I'm going to do it every fourth Saturday of the month because I do realize that a lot of us on this journey, we don't do a lot of things like party and clubbing and things like that. So this will give us something to do at least one Saturday night in the month where we can actually come together and just focus on us. We're at that time, we're not worried about what husband's doing, what boyfriend's doing, girlfriends, kids. We're focusing on us at that point. We want to just do some self-reflecting. So I thought that would be a good idea for us to get together. So if you guys are not busy, don't have any plans, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, come to Trace of Twaun's Life. And I'm not going to really say what we're going to be doing because we're going to be doing a lot of different things. I have a few people that will be joining us in January and February.
Every fourth Saturday
Yeah,
of the
at
month.
8 p.m.
That's
at
our
8
plan.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, very good. I love that. Thank you so much. This
You're
conversation
welcome.
has been in the making, and we said we were going to wait till first. We were waiting till, you switched over to the Zepbound, and then we thought we wait to the 100 pounds. And so I am so proud of you. You're actually down 104 pounds. You got 100 more you're getting to, and I can't wait to celebrate you when you're in Wonderland because I could see you getting there.
Honey,
And
let me tell you, I'm in Wonderland now. I'm
yes,
in
yes.
Wonderland now. I'm not
Yeah.
there, but I'm in Wonderland now. I am enjoying the moment now. I am enjoying it.
Yeah, and that's important because I think a lot of times, like I was saying earlier, especially when you're on a weight loss journey or you have any kind of self improvement, people want to wait until I'm gonna not do this until I get that. And so I think that's a great message to say. Do it now. You got to do it now because we don't know what God has in store for us today, tomorrow, next week, next month. So you got to do it now, while you can. So, well, this was such a pleasure.
You're
I just
welcome.
enjoy your videos. Let's put up, we want people to subscribe to your channel if they're not already subscribed. And I will see you in the next video.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.